G'day ladies and gentlemen, Duckville here. I have got a Protoss versus Zerg coming at you today. It's going to be featuring a buddy of mine from the local scene down here in Australia, in fact from up in Brisbane. This is from Team Frenetic Array Academy Alpha. Recently joined the Academy squad over at Frenetic Array and has been just sort of working on some different things. I do know he has a slightly intriguing Protoss vs Zerg style, which I would hope we're going to see here today. His opponent up towards the top right-hand side of the map from clan UNeed, it is Hermen? Hermen? I don't know. Hermen. We'll go with Hermen. Isn't normal like the name Hermen's with an A? H-E-R-M-A-N? I don't actually know. I don't know anyone named Hermen. Does anyone know anyone named Hermen? Who knows? But as you can see, Alpha are going to be starting out with what looks to be a Forge Fast Expand, or perhaps a Nexus First. We'll find out in just a jiffy if he's going to put that Forge down. But as you can, normal sorts of stuff. Just scouting about, going to be checking out what's going on. Now, of course, I am posting this. This should go up on around about the 28th of December. Almost the end of the year. We just had the end of year holidays and looking forward to the new year as well. I am going to be doing a lot of streaming through the new year. I am actually getting better internet too, which is going to be quite cool. So I should be able to get a bit of a higher quality stream going, which should be pretty freaking awesome once it finally happens. But yeah, going to be doing a lot more streaming of Dota and SC2, and I think we're doing a bit of Skyrim on Monday nights and other stuff like Natural Selection too as well. So please do, if you haven't already, jump onto my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/DuckvilleLol, and make sure you're following there. Keep an eye on what's going on. You can also have a look at the Google Calendar that I made. There's also got a bit of a streaming schedule over there, which can help you out with figuring when things are on and when you can tune in and come and join in a little bit of fun on stream. But Alpha, well, he's poking about with this probe, looked to try and block the hatchery, but unfortunately double droning came down and was a little bit too annoying there. And now, as we can see, well, it's all going to be happening here as Hermen is going to be coming across to the third base. It may look to try and put that one down, but Alpha is going to probably block this off for the moment. Yeah, looking to just sort of keep that one blocked off for a little bit longer. The drone is it needs to be a little bit careful. It is going to head back and is looking to put that hatchery down. Is he going to make it in time? It looks like he went for the block again, and eventually Hermen does get the third hatchery down upon scouting out that his opponent is going for a Forge. Well, sorry, it's a Nexus First into Forge Fast Expand, but everything should be nice and easy sailing from here, given that it is just a standard kind of macro play coming out of Alpha for the moment. No early gateway or anything like that. Sorry, as in not a gateway expansion or anything like that. So he doesn't really have to worry about the third base. This is, of course, when the gateway expansions really started to rise to prominence in this particular matchup, Zerg players, you have to wait a little bit longer. You have to you can't be as greedy to pick up a third base and just drone for days. You have to, you have to possibly get your speed out for Lings very quickly. You may even look to get some defensive roaches. Some people do it differently. It sort of depends who you talk to. Some people will get they'll get their Ling speed and just go for a lot of Lings to protect against possible gateway threats. Other people will look to get some like a couple of roaches out just to try and help out the slowlings and then get their speed a little bit later. It's sort of, as I said, very sort of dependent on your style and how you want to go for it. But Hermen's going to keep an eye on what's going on here. He can see, of course, that the Cyber is now done. We've got one of the gases now on the way here at the natural base. But other than that, no real signs of what Alpha is going for just as of yet. You don't really get to see that until until the gas count has reached about 150 for the Protoss player, and now that it has, we may see him pick up his the first little clue as to his particular style. But Hermen, meanwhile, on his side of the map, got a couple more Lings out. 6 more Lings are being added in, which is a little bit of an interesting addition. It's not, I wouldn't say it's completely standard just to add in another 6, maybe a couple, like maybe 2 or 4 more, just so you can keep control of the Zelnaga watchtowers, maybe keep a Ling out here just to scout this kind of area if there's any incoming units or anything like that. But he is gonna, well, there we go, we've got four more, just four just rolling down through the middle of the map, and it is gonna be, there it is, double Stargate for Alpha, so he is going to be looking for a little bit of air pressure right now. The Overlord's now coming through for Hermen, trying to find out what's going on, where is the tech, what's going on here. I need to be able to figure out so I can make the correct adjustment to be able to deal with the particular style that the Protoss is going for, but Alpha has been able to get the Stalker out and keep his opponent at bay, but the double Stargate will be just completing now, and we'll see what kind of tech he is going for. Of course, way back there used to be a couple of double Stargate styles that would revolve around just getting out a huge flock of Phoenix and just really surprising your opponent with the Phoenix production. Just sort of, you know, suddenly you've got like, you know, 4, 6, and then 8 Phoenix out, sniping down Overlords. You can pick up Queens and go to town on drones as well. But you don't really see that as often. But here's something you also don't see as often: double Oracle production coming out from Alpha here as he heads towards his third base. So we'll see what he's going for here. Of course, Oracles quite a while ago, you know, way back in beta, they were used en masse sometimes because they used to do extra damage to buildings. They used to, was it extra damage or was it they just did flat out a lot of damage? I can't exactly remember, holy crap. But either way, he's going to be getting out a couple of Oracles. 2 of them will be making their way across. They will provide a little bit of protection for some of the units out on the map. It looks like Alpha has got a little bit of an issue there at his third base as well. We can see a lot of the links just streaming across. They're going to try and take out the cannons and anything they can. But it looks as if they aren't going to be able to finish off this. I don't think they're going to get a cancel on this Nexus. Just a couple of warp-ins should be able to help out with that. Alpha, meanwhile, looking to grab a couple of drones if he can. Has sniped out none at the moment. There's one. He needs to get out of there, though. Those Oracles are in a bit of trouble. Queens were poking at them. We've also got Spore Crawlers protecting each of the mineral lines there as well. So, yeah, no cancel on the third base as well. Alpha should get his third base nice and safely here as another probe wants to head across, but 20 drones were just pumped out by Hermen, and wow, we've still got more Oracles on the way. So we're really heading to a large count of Oracles at this point here. A little bit of, as I said, a little bit of that beta style there where you have, you know, just mass Oracles out to tear apart hatcheries, and it was a really big problem back in beta, which is why they were changed. But Alpha's looking to bring it back right now with his 6 Oracles that he has out on the field. Going to be providing not only a bit of map vision, but a lot of map control as well. And we'll see how Hermen's going to deal with this. He does have some Lings on the way. The Hydralisk Den just finishes up now. +1 to air missile attacks is now on the way. Will be done shortly. But the Oracles, well, they'll see that hatchery there. They'll see the 4th base. And I think Hermen has reacted relatively well to what you would normally see. If you see a couple of Oracles come out, you think, alright, I need to get some Hydras out, we need some static defense maybe, but when you see 6 of them, not to mention there are still more across the opposite side of the map just popping out now as well as Void Rays, but how do you deal with the 6? They do such huge amounts of damage here. They're even going to just try and take on these Spore Crawlers as well. One of the Oracles will fall down, but the Hydras are on the way. 11 of them are about to pop out just now. And as we can see, Alpha is he's gone to town on all of those drones. 28 drones have now died here for the Zerg player. And Hermen he's now got those Hydras out, and they will force the Oracles back for now. But wow, it's such a weird sort of style to see that kind of play come out, and he has wrecked a lot of the drone lines. We've killed a lot of drones. The natural base was not mining for quite a while there, and well, the air superiority is certainly in Alpha's favor right now with a total of 7 Oracles out on the field. We've got a couple of Void Rays now being added in. Extra gateways back at home so that he can warp in some more standard kind of units here. But still, we have 2 more Oracles in production, so he's really looking to keep the Oracle count high. And it's interesting to consider because, you know, Hydras are light units. They've got 80 health, and these Oracles, when they turn on their Pulsar Beam, they do 25 per just under a second. So they may even be able to start to take on Hydras once they get to a certain point. But Alpha is out looking for more blood. We've got a probe just placing down a couple of sneaky pylons here, it looks like. But now the Oracles have just decided, well, it's time to take out this hatchery. So heads across, and now some Lings are also going to get torn apart, and I think that's a few too many Hydras to be able to take on. Maybe if he had a couple more Oracles, he might be able to deal with that, but not really able to get in there. Now, as we can see, a little bit more static defense prepared here for Hermen, and well, he's able to force the Oracles out of there. They're in their flying V at the moment. I'm quite happy about that. But they will pick up a couple more drone kills, 33 in total. And, well, while Alpha has sort of banked up a little bit at the moment, he's sitting on almost 3,000 minerals at this point. Soon, he's going to start to be able to warp in a lot more units. We've got Templar, the Archons now being added in, and he's going to have a very, very powerful ground force, as well as the air force that he has established now as well, consisting of 9 Oracles. We've still got a couple of Void Rays up there. I would not be... Okay, he's still going to continue on with the Oracles for now. But we are going to be warping in a lot of units across the map, I would assume, very soon. Because Alpha, well, he's got his nice saturation with his probes. We're at 75. His opponent is currently back up to the 80 drone count. But has to set up some more static defense because there are just so many Oracles about. You can't really let these drone lines fall down again, because that would be the end of our Zerg player Hermen there. But now, as we can see, some Zealots going to make their way across. They do have charge. They do have, I think it's, yeah, just a +1 on their upgrades as well. This is a small problem with this kind of style, is that the upgrades are extremely far behind where you would want them to be. Normally at this point, you would expect the Protoss to be on at least +2 on weapons, and then possibly even grabbing +1 on the armor very soon as well. But unfortunately, just because of the nature of building up all these Oracles constantly, you don't have all of the resources you would normally have. So we will see how Alpha's going to deal with that. His opponent is also very low on the upgrades at the moment, just sitting on the +1 to missile attacks. We've got +2 coming along very soon. Fungal growth will be available with the pathogen glands, just finishing up very soon for those infestors. But the Oracles have decided it is time to go to town on some more Spore Crawlers here, taking out 3 inside the third base. Now going for the hatchery. Will they be able to burn it down before the Hydras arrive? It looks like the answer is yes, and he does. He gets out of there and says, alright, that's enough for me. Got some more Zealots across at what was the 4th base is now the 3rd of Hermen. And now the economy is going to be torn apart yet again. So Hermen's going to be, well, back to square one, all the while Alpha expanding down to the 4th base. He's obviously, his 3rd base is mining away quite nicely. The natural starting to get a little bit low. The main is also nearly at that point where we'll have to start transferring those probes. But as we can see, Alpha in firm control right now, given that he has just constantly ripped apart his opponent's economy. The fleet beacon is on the way in preparation for some, I would assume, some Tempest, just to make sure he has some units to deal with the possible Broodlords that may come out. But at this stage, he's going to be struggling to get anything out. And I mean, he does have a couple of infestors that have been added in. We'll get a, well, is that, we'll need a, looks like one of the infestors may get caught out here as it looks to waddle up towards the 3rd base. Going to have to get out of there as quickly as he can. The Hydras and the Roaches will come along and protect the base for now, but Hermen, I mean, he's going to be struggling very soon. Like, he's got a nice army out at the moment. It's not maxed out, which is a little bit unfortunate. 157 supply, and he has, some decent upgrades. 1-2 is done, but once this army is gone, he's going to have a very hard time resupplying. And I mean, it's not easy to deal with, charge lots, the Archons, and then of course, the possibilities of Storm. We've got Void Rays here to deal with the Roaches as well. And it's just going to be very difficult because Alpha has had such control of the game so far. And now as Hermen looks to move out, he may start encouraging his opponent to push forwards because Alpha is now maxed out. We've got a lot of Zealots, +2 on their upgrades. We've got +3 is being researched right now, and even +1 to air weapons is now coming through as well. And you can see the desperation of Hermen here. 4 Spore Crawlers set up at the 3rd base as a way to try and repel those Oracles if they come across again. We've got something similar here for Alpha, but I mean, that's just a little bit of a protective force to make sure this base stays nicely protected and saturated here. As we can see, we would like to see some of those probes hop into the assimilators there. But, we're busy building a few gateways. We've now got a total of 12 gateways being built. The Dark Shrine is also now prepared and ready to go. We'll probably see some DTs get added in. We do have some Zealots causing some slight issues over here at the 3rd base. Going to chop up some of those drones that are there, also some of the links that come across to defend. Now, Hermen looking for anything that he can right now. We've got some swarm hosts out. The problem with the swarm hosts, of course, they're wonderful delay tools, but when you have to deal with the fact that there is going to be some detection here as well, we've got now the Oracles coming across, the Zealots getting fungal growth, very nicely done, but now the Oracles are going to be in here, they're going to be smashing down those Hydras. We can see that the Storms are also thrown in for good measure as well. The Foyers will be here providing that extra little bit of backup, and with some more feedbacks, that is going to be the end of that army. And I mean, that was just utter annihilation there by Alpha. I mean, Hermen, as we said, is going to have a very hard time resupplying. Only 19 Hydras coming out. And I say only because when you look at the fact that we have 9 Oracles out, able to do all of that damage per second with their pulsar beams, it's going to be very hard for these Hydras to be able to do anything. And now with some DTs being added in, just for a little bit of flavor as well, these guys should be able to cut up a lot of the remaining forces that Hermen has, and we'll probably see a tap out here in just a second. And, well, a very interesting build coming out of the Frenetic Array Academy player Alpha there. Well, it's interesting to see how he did that, but, well, if you want to give that one a shot or yourself on the ladder, give it a go. Let me know how it goes. I'll catch you all next time. Here. As you can see, 47 damage to bio units and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His Storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really, really nicely there. And for Minigun, he's been sticking with a much more